Morning, everyone. Today, in our geography class, in social science period, we are going to discuss geography, where we have already started our chapter 2, and we are going to uh, finish the last topic of this chapter, that is land, soil, water, natural resources and wildlife resources, where we yesterday in our live class we started with the natural vegetation and wildlife resources. So natural vegetation and wildlife resources, they exist in the biosphere. Now biosphere means the sphere of or we can say that it is a thin contact zone between the lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere, where life exists, is known as biosphere. Then we have also seen that plants and animals, as well as they are interrelated to each other in the physical environment, which is known as ecosystem. Then we also have learned that how plants are important for us, and also animals are important. So plants are important because they provide like timber to us. Then it provides fresh air or oxygen. It produces oxygen. Then it also helpful for various wildlife and tribal communities, which acts as the shelter for them, the forest areas. And then it has also other reason, like it helps the groundwater research, and then many other uses of the plants are there. And then it also provide different fruits, vegetables, etc. Then we have also seen the importance of wildlife. So wildlife are also important because they provide us with meat and flesh, or we can say milk also. So these are also important in the ecosystem. So we discussed about that one. Then they also help in the production of wool, like sheep, they produce wool. So wool and textile industries, they can use those products for the as raw material. Then we also have seen that natural vegetation is renewable resources, but its use must be judicial one, because if we use it, or if we exploit the natural vegetation, then one fine day will come, it will be not available for our future, and it can create a lot of calamities to the environment, and also it can be a threat to human being as well as to the other living organisms. The wildlife and natural vegetation make a deep connection, so preservation of both are very important. So for that, today we are going to discuss about distribution of natural vegetation. And in this particular topic, we can see that what type of vegetation are found. Okay, so the growth of vegetation depends on temperature and moisture. So one mark question can be there: what are the factors that responsible for growth of vegetation? So it is the climatic factor, which include temperature and moisture. Temperature, because for the luxuriant growth of vegetation, temperature must be there, sunlight must be there. And then on the other hand, moisture, soil moisture is very important, because growth of soil is possible if the required soil moisture is present in the soil. Then we can see that there are different types of vegetation found over the surface of the earth, which includes forest, grasslands, scrubs, tundra are some of the major types of vegetation in the world. Now forest, first one. So forests are basically, it is associated, or it is found in those areas where rainfall is more, where there is abundant supply of water, or we can say where there is heavy rainfall taking place. So basically, in the heavy rainfall areas, it has evergreen forest, which we will discuss the subtypes of vegetation, evergreen and deciduous forest, we will discuss later on. So evergreen forests are mostly dominated in the areas where rainfall is heavy rainfall is being received, and the areas with less rainfall have deciduous, little bit less rainfall have deciduous. Then on the other hand, other areas where rainfall is very less, then it may have either grassland or scrubs vegetation. Okay, so first one, forest, we have discussed. Now grasslands, as we got second one, grassland. So you can see grasslands are areas having short stunted trees and grasses grow in the regions of moderate rainfall. So grasslands are found in the areas where rainfall is moderately found. Okay, And then as the amount of moisture decreases, the size of the trees and their density reduces. As the amount of moisture in the atmosphere and in the soil decreases because of moderate rainfall, so the size of the trees also, and also density means like uh, presence of the trees are less in numbers, density is less. Then next one we got is shrub. If you see back, scrubs. After scrubs we have tundra. So now scrubs are what? Thorny scrubs and other scrubs are grown basically in the drier regions where rainfall is very low, so such as in Rajasthan. So where thorny scrubs and other type of scrubs, they grow in the dry areas of low rainfall, and the plants of this region have deep root, they have deep roots, so, and also they have leaves with thorny and waxy surface that helps reduce loss of moisture through transpiration. Why the thorny scrubs they have, or we can say why do the scrubs in the low rainfall areas have um, leaves with thorny and waxy surface? Because it helps to reduce the loss of moisture through transpiration. That will be your answer. So it can be another question, why do the drier regions have thorny and waxy surface of the leaves? So you have to answer is that it helps to reduce the loss of moisture through transpiration. That's all. Okay. Then tundra, last one. So tundra vegetation is found basically in the areas of cold polar regions where snowfall is dominant. So it is found in the very high altitude areas and polar regions. Okay. Very high altitude areas means in the upper Himalayas, very upper Himalayas, it may have this type of vegetation. If we move on, and also it is found in the polar regions because they also have cold climate, and similarly the very high altitudinal areas also have cold climates, so they have this type of vegetation, tundra vegetation. So tundra vegetation is limited to cold places, which can be polar regions or very high altitude areas. So these comprise, or it includes mosses and lichens. So lichens and mosses, basically lichens are also small plants, and lichens are also small plant, and mosses are also kind of grass like vegetation. So this includes mosses and lichens. Then we have further classification of the forest. So this is all about the 5 types which we discussed. One is forest, then the grasslands, then scrubs, and the next one is the tundra. So 4 types, I think, if you see back: forest, and then we have got another one is scrubs, tundra. Okay, 4 types we discussed. So second is done. Then tundra. Then after that, forest is divided into 2 types, which are evergreen and deciduous. Okay, depending upon on when they shed their leaves. So now trees of evergreen forest do not shed their leaves simultaneously in any season of the year. Means trees, they shed their leaves, but it is not all together, because there are various types of plants found in the evergreen forest of different layers. So that's why all together the plants do not shed their leaves. Okay, in a particular season all together they do not shed their leaves, so that's why it looks evergreen throughout the year. Okay, and it is limited to the areas where rainfall is heavily received. The next one is deciduous forest. So deciduous forest shed their leaves in a particular season. During dry season they shed their leaf, they may shed their leaves. So in a particular season the deciduous forest shed their leaves, but in case of evergreen they do not shed their leaves altogether, but in deciduous forest they shed their leaf in a particular season to conserve loss of moisture through transpiration. Okay. Then in India, mostly evergreen and deciduous forests are found, which are the rich source of timber and forest produce. So India is rich in both the evergreen and deciduous forests, which provide timber from the forest. Okay, timber and forest resources, other resources. Timber is being also extracted from these forests only, and other forest produces, okay, like it can be helpful for paper making, matchbox making, etc. Also it provides raw material to the forest based industries. Then in Himalayan region of India, mixed forests are found according to their altitude. In, as I told you, with the altitudinal change, with the height change, the type of vegetation also changes. So that's why Himalayas have taller heights. So Himalayan region have mixed type of vegetation according to their altitude. According to their increasing height, they have different type of vegetation. So such as taiga, evergreen forest, deciduous forest species are also found, and at the very top it has alpine type of vegetation also. Then forests are our wealth. Why should we conserve the forest now? As because we have seen the distribution of forest now. Now why we need to conserve forest? Because I told you that these two are very important for the to maintain the ecological balance. So that is the reason we need to conserve the forest. So forests are our wealth. Plants give shelter to animals, and together they maintain the ecosystem. For the maintenance of ecosystem, both plants and animals are important. Then changes of climate and human interference can cause the loss of natural habitats for the plants and animals. So due to climate and human interference, it can hamper the ecosystem. Poaching, which is illegal hunting. Poaching is one of the major concerns which results in sharp decline in the number of particular species. Poaching, which is illegally hunting, which is done for commercial basis to sell in the market the products of the animals. So this is one of the major concern in our country as well, which is the result the sharp decline in the number of species. Then the animals are poached for collection of illegal trade of hides, skins, nails, teeth, horns, feathers, etc. So this is the reason they hunt the animals, they poach the animals. So poaching is illegal hunting actually. To protect our natural vegetation and wildlife, many steps are being taken. One of the thing is like establishment of national parks, okay, so that they can be conserved in their places. Wildlife sanctuaries and biosphere reserves are being made, they are being established. Then due to this indiscriminate killings, several birds and animals have either become extinct or are on the verge of extinction. Due to indiscriminate killing for poaching, or we can say simply killing of the animals and birds for personal use, that has been one of the major concern, because it has led to extinction of many of the species, and some are on the verge of extinction, means they are vanished from the surface of the earth, or some have only a few species, a few numbers left, which may, if the process, if the illegal hunting or indiscriminate killing is being continued, then it can lead to extinction of those less number of species also. Then awareness programs like social forestry, it is social forestry means management and afforestation and management of the forest with the public participation. So awareness programs like social forestry and Van Mahotsava should be encouraged at the regional and community level to conserve forest and wildlife. So it is the ethical duty of every citizen to conserve plants and animals, because these plants and animals, they maintain the ecological balance. So under Article 48A of the Indian Constitution, forest conservation has made a directive principle. Inclusion of forest and environment in the Constitution make the government of India liable to take the steps in this direction. Okay, so it is by the government of India, it has been, the steps has been taken to conserve the forest. So inclusion of forest and environment in the Constitution make the government of India liable to take steps against the exploitation of the forest and wildlife. So this is all about the chapter where we have discussed about the forest, wildlife, and vegetation. So basically vegetation, natural vegetation are forest, then grassland, scrubs, and it includes tundra vegetation. Then we have also seen how we can conserve the forest. So it can be by, we can protect the wildlife by already government have started doing that, that is establishment of national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, biosphere reserves, which have been in the for the purpose of conservation. Then there must be control over the poaching. Okay, then there must be some awareness program like social forestry Van Mahotsava. It should be encouraged at regional and community level, and it is duty of each and every citizen to conserve forest and wildlife so that the ecological balance is being maintained properly. That is all. Okay, so thank you so much, students, and you all have to note down these points in your copies, and you can send me through Google Classroom as your homework. Okay, thank you.